How can preppers convince people we care about to start preparing for themselves? The answer is through some time and patience, and this acronym can help remind you of the steps to make it happen. I used to work in the field, meeting people and seeing different cultures, participating in daily life. Nowadays I spend lots of time in an office. Part of this office life is obviously email-centered. I can't get over how many times I've been told to CC me on an email I was sending out. One day I was asked to talk about the steps I took to develop relationships or improve and reinforce existing ones. And I realized that I could sound out the process as CC me. I figured this would be an easy way for everyday office people to understand and memorize the steps and ensure success. Part of convincing people to prep, or to care about self-defense, or a myriad of other things, is that if you jump right into the deepest parts of your knowledge base, you may flood them with information and either intimidate them into inaction or convince them that yes, you did indeed go crazy at some point. With this acronym, you can develop the steps over time and slowly get them to see the merits of being prepared, not scared, and never unaware. Let's break down what CCME stands for and how you can use CCME to convince someone to start prepping. You may have known this person for a while, so contact doesn't refer to contacting the person. It refers you to pitching your idea to this person. You don't want to come on too strong, but you want to bring it up and maybe engage in light conversation about it. Maybe you'll talk about the news, supply shortages, how maybe it's a good idea to get extra items that make up their normal purchases. In the contact phase, you're also subtly influencing the person. You may repeatedly bring up the subject of prepping over the course of a few conversations. In some cases, it may take a while if they're really resistant. That's okay, because you shouldn't really think of any of these steps as something you should get done in one conversation. The more they realize prepping is normal, that you're a regular guy and not some doomsday cult enthusiast, they'll begin to come around to the idea. Whether it's storing food or getting serious about self-defense, the idea is the same. Repeated small bouts of contact and influence. You don't want to push them away. Once you get to a stage where they agree more than resist, you can then lead on to the next step. From the sales world, you want to convert your pitch into a sale. Right now, you're selling the idea of being prepared for emergencies. Whereas before you were slowly tapping them in this direction, you can now openly talk about prepping and defense lifestyles. You can talk about how to set up a sustainable garden on their property, or how to raise chickens in an urban setting. Anything, really, about improving your knowledge base or skill sets. Where contacting was partnered with influencing, the conversion has inspiration. To inspire someone doesn't mean that you're looking to be revered. It means to inspire into action, for the newbie to really take charge and approach prepping with enthusiasm. Of course, you have to tell them that you can't buy skills, but you can buy equipment that can make life easier. Make sure that enthusiasm is tempered with reality. For instance, they might want to have an off-grid electrical capability, but don't point them to a $20,000 solar system that they'll pay with a credit card that they have no intent of paying back. That's destructive and helps absolutely no one and can permanently damage your relationship when the apocalypse doesn't happen and they get denied on everything because their credit score is in the toilet. But at least they get free energy, right? So this pushes into the next stage of CCME. You want to be sure that your loved one, your friend, your community member is keeping a level head and isn't going big into this lifestyle with unrealistic enthusiasm. It can be very easy to get carried away, not just in prepping, but with any new activity, hobby, or social space. If you don't guide them properly, it's very easy to get lost in the noise. We've all dumped money into some stupid gear at some point, so it's up to us to make sure they're not repeating any expensive mistakes. The next step, like the others, is linked to the monitoring phase as a pair, but it stands alone because it's a long-term phase. Here you want to see what's working, what's not, what's frustrating. Do they think that you got them into an expensive lifestyle and that disasters won't happen, and now they resent you because they could have gone on that trip, but now they have 150 pounds of rice in their hallway sitting in buckets? How many things do we acknowledge as fact in today's political and global news that not even 5 years ago were regarded as complete conspiracy theory? With everything that we know today, the outcomes seem fairly reasonable. However, if you were to dump a lot of these current stories into the hands or TV sets or smartphones of your average person 5 years ago, they would have looked at you like you were extremely unstable. The end goal is to have someone who's prepared for emergencies, disasters, and unforeseen circumstances. It could be as mundane as a job loss. You have to make sure their ideas are balanced with constant evaluation and the cycle begins again. New beneficial ideas are introduced, encouraged, progress is checked, and changes are made according to the current situation. Over time, net positive changes can be made because results compound on one another. Where you once had a skeptic, you now have someone to talk to chickens about, and who can turn down a supply of fresh eggs. The more your community can rely on each other, the less external support and materials are needed. I hope this makes you talk to that family member who thinks you're crazy for having some rice and meat stashed away. Because true prepping involves preparing more than just yourselves. Until the next video, be good, stay safe, and have a good one.